Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Taylor, and today I wanted to speak about a topic that I believe is very important to speak about in the spiritual community when you start to awaken to a new version of yourself, and you start to become aware of a new path that you are on in your spiritual development. And what I wanted to dive in today was the dark side of spiritual awakening that many people in the community of spirituality at the beginning don't talk about, where you, in the beginning of the spiritual process, you really start to open your eyes to all of the different aspects of life, and you have a new light and a new way of looking at life and looking at the world as a whole. And you really, at the beginning, I remember being so excited to see all this new content, to see all this new stuff about spirituality that resonated with me that I had never seen before. I remember watching endless hours of YouTube and going through almost this hermit phase where I would sit down for hours and just watch endless amounts of content and be so engulfed and interested in learning all this new stuff that was coming my way about the spiritual awakening process, and watching documentaries and watching other YouTubers on the spirituality. And I remember it was just so exciting at the start. And then what happens is, once you start to pick up on all this information, it's not that it gets harder. It's just that what happens is you start to do the inner work and the shadow work, and you'll start to have the shadow aspects of yourself starting to come up and come to the surface. Once you get past this beginning stage of the spiritual awakening process, you'll start to dive deep into your own darkness. And this is what I call the dark side of the spiritual awakening, where you'll start to realize that your whole life you've been programmed as a child. You've been programmed your whole life to believe certain things are true about the world that we live in, when the truth is that reality is all just virtual. It's like a virtual reality where we are all living in our own reality, in a sense, where we're all perceiving the world in a different way. So there's billions of different perspectives about the world we live in, and everybody has their own views and opinions, and everybody's living their own journeys. And you start to awaken to all these things. You start to awaken to the fact that there's a deeper, darker aspect to the government, and there's things going on that we are definitely not aware of, and you start to become aware of all the darker aspects of things. But the truth is that the darkness has to come up and has to be brought to the surface to allow more light to come through. And this is what I believe is the reason for going through this darkness. And we're here to transform ourselves from inside out and let go of the karmic past that we hold on to, that our ancestors had to deal with, that we still have to deal with, and to really transcend and move through this darkness, it has to come to the surface. And that is what we see playing right now in the world stage. We see a lot of darkness coming up among the collective. Not only in our own journeys, we see it coming up in the whole collective, and all this darkness is coming up to make people aware of what's happening and to awaken the masses and to bring spiritual awakening to those who are still unconscious, in a sense, where they're not aware of what's really happening and what's really going on in this reality. So my main message here was that the more that you become friends with your darkness, it's reminding me of a song. I believe it's System of a Down. It says, "Hello darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk to you again." So letting that darkness come up and doing the inner work. For me, to give you an example of something that I've done to work through a part of my life that was a tougher part of my life, which is losing my father to suicide, is I'll meditate. I'll go through a meditation where I dive into that part of myself where I was hurting, my inner child was hurting, and I dive into that darkness and that feeling that I felt at a young age, where I felt like I was lost in a sense. I felt like I didn't know at that age how to feel and to comprehend it, and it really started to hit me at an older age to have to deal with and to process through. But that's an example, is me going into a meditation knowing that I'm going to bring up this darkness within me, but it's all with good reason to transcend it and to allow more light to come in. And I'll sit there and cry and release and almost like purge out these darker aspects of myself so that I can allow more light in. And it's amazing when you do this and you start to feel that you are releasing these darker aspects of yourself. You really do feel lighter and you feel better. And I just want to say, I know this is not easy. It's not easy to face your demons and face your inner darkness sometimes. And that's why most people are trying to avoid it and put it to the back of their heads and just say, that was the past, it's over with, I'm not going to deal with it anymore, and just let it be there in the back of their minds. But the truth is that what happens is the more that you start to boggle everything up, is the more that you start to really not live to your highest and fullest potential. You don't live to your true happiest point that you can live to. And I've started to realize that my happiness levels have been growing. My vibration is raising by me doing the inner work and dealing with the darkness that sometimes arises within me, and allowing it to be my friend rather than be my enemy. So when I'm feeling this darkness come up, I used to resist it and wonder what was wrong with me. What am I feeling this way for? But the truth is that when you just allow for it to come through you, sometimes you don't even know exactly why you're feeling the darkness come up, but it's just coming up to be released and to allow for more of that light energy to come within you, and you'll be happier than you ever have before, and you'll feel more in tune with your true self, your true inner self, your soul, your unconditional loving being that lives within you, that's always been there. You'll start to connect more deeply to it. So allow for this darkness to come up, allow for you to process through this, and to just transcend this darkness. And it's an ongoing process. It's something that it'll just come up and be released, and you'll feel a sense of relief. And I'm sure that many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure that many of you can relate to this, and I felt inspired to share this today because I know that a lot of people are facing their darkness right now. And if you're going through this, I feel for you. I understand what you're going through. I know what you're going through, and we're all in this together. You're never alone. You are never going through this alone. You have me and everyone here and others that understand you and that support you, and they're here to tell you that you are so loved and appreciated by the universe. And you're doing so amazing right now on this planet, and I thank you for being here and for doing this inner work, for being yourself, because we're in a world filled with people wearing masks, not showing their true selves. And by you being your true authentic self, being you out there in the world, you're going to shift other people's vibrations, allow people to feel comfortable through this awakening process. We're creating the path of least resistance for others, and that's a beautiful thing. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for the work you're doing, and you're just so loved. You are so loved and appreciated. I hope this message helps. I hope this helped you all. Every single one of you who's up to this point in the video, just know that you are one of the front runners of this collective vibrational healing that's taking place, where we're all coming together right now. So many people are going through this awakening right now to allow for this vibration on the planet to rise up. And this is the greatest time in history to be alive right now on planet Earth. That's why you're here. That's why we're here together, guys. And I love you all, and I appreciate you, and thank you for being here, for being you. Thank you for everything you do. I can't help but smile. Just smile right now. Smile. Because we have so many things to be grateful for, and so many blessings, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time to be here. So I hope you guys all feel this energy coming from me. It's coming from my heart, and I'm sending it to you right now through the screen. Much love, peace, namaste, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.